Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Enough channel. In this video, we're going to review NRL Fantasy after round 3 of the 2026 season. So another slightly disappointing week for myself. I only scored 808 this week, which did see me drop in rank, so just outside the top 70k now. Round rank, you can see they're bordering on 100k. So we'll have a look at the team. We'll see if we can work out where the damage has been done. And starting your hooker, potentially, I guess, Reed Money, slightly underperforming. Now has a break even in line with his projection and up against Melbourne this week. I think they might try and target him through the middle, which might help his tackle count. But, you know, he's not really doing a great deal. I mean, I don't know how much he's made us. It's not as much information. So he's only made 30k. But I guess it's been an alright pick. Nothing fantastic. Payne Haas with 67 was solid. Isaiah Yeo also 65. And then in between, you can see we've got Trey Mooney, who only scored a 29 this week, so a bit down on his first couple of weeks. And also has found himself a week off with suspension. Noel Martin with a 51 continues to be awesome. You know, obviously we missed out on the first price rise, but he's up to 480k now. So, and I think he's still got money to make with a -6 break even. So, yeah, loving that pick. Dave Fafita with a 51 this week, but on the bye. So probably a hold. You know, it's only 1 week. We can make do. Nathan Cleary as captain scored a 60, which when Penrith scored 40 points, you would have hoped he was a bit more involved, but just the way it fell, I suppose. Dan Atkinson with 39 was okay. Nice fixture this week against the Titans, though, so we're not going to get rid of him just yet. Tom Chester, so only the 23 off the back of a couple of solid weeks to begin the season. And another one who's got a week off. So probably a hold, but he might be the break glass in case of emergency guy there. Kale Eero, so 46 is okay, but we did pay slightly higher average price for him, so we would like a little bit more. But again, not a panic sell at this point. Fa'alongo was our trade-in last week, and he scored 50 points this week, which obviously wasn't up there with his first 2 weeks of output, but very good, making good cash. You know, break even of 18 is easy enough, and he has the upside where we're not too stressed. Jacob Kiraz, so looked a little bit injured. Yeah, I probably didn't even pick it up watching the game, to be honest, but a lot of people that are smarter than me did, so we'll just wait and see what's going on with Kiraz, but at the moment, I think he's a hold until we get more information. Fayamani, so 26 points. Obviously, that's the risk with these cheaper wing fullback type options is if they're not scoring tries, they do have the ability to lack in points. But generally, we can get more consistent points elsewhere. So the theory is to not spend up so big in the back line, although I've now got sort of 3 keepers, I guess I would call them, albeit probably underpriced keepers. But yeah, I think we hold him a bit longer and squeeze a bit more cash. On the bench, we had Toby Couchman, only scored a 33, so it's probably been the most disappointing player in the squad. And also, I guess that 33 was impacted by concussion, so he will miss a week. But, you know, we may need to use that money this week. Ryan Couchman was good with the 52. However, he is in a bit of trouble for the hip drop on Jermaine Hopgood. So he could be out a bit longer term than just a week. But given he's still got a negative break even, I think he is worth a hold. It's probably not worth another 2 trades. trade him out, trade him back in once he is back from that. Particularly when we've got people like a Lasardi that we want to get back in at a future date. Helam Lukey, 54, pretty solid score, happy with that. Hamish Stewart with a 51. This is, I guess, probably what we were hoping to see from him, and with the Couchman brothers out, I think he will get a nice little bump in minutes in the coming weeks. So I think he is a definite hold if you've got him. Excuse me. Ethan Sanders was quite good in what was a wet night in Canberra, 52 points. Obviously, a lot of kick meters and that involved in that. Ramaho with 52 as well. So obviously we missed out on those scores when we could have had them on field for, or we could have had Trey Mooney on the bench. Not we would have done that. Or Couchman again, probably wouldn't have done that. But Sanders over Atkinson would have been handy. But yeah, some good scoring. Obviously we talked about trading out Ho, but with Lasardi's injury, we just traded him out instead for Failongo. And I think, yeah, it worked out pretty well in that sense. Macassini with a 37 this week. Interesting to see how he'll go without Luai and Dewey in the halves. But again, given the outs we've got, we may need to lean on him this week. And Setu 2 with 42 points. Decent enough. And as we said, nice match up against the Titans this week. So I think 2 is a playable option. In terms of the leagues, again, not doing so flash. Got done by the notorious PIG David's team. He scored at 867 this week. So the difference makers there. So he had Udo Kimano, but I had Isaiah Yo. So didn't really lose much there. I guess made up with Adam Dewey scoring 47. So I guess it was in the centres, having Macassini over Chester, Farnworth over Eero, got him a few extra points. And then having Fletcher Hunt, 36, and I guess Reece Walsh covered Failongo. So yeah, Fletcher Hunt outpointing Kiraz. And then on the bench, Terrell May was the big difference maker there, 61, as opposed to 33 for Couchman. So, those few little points of difference adding up to, 60 points in the end? Or close enough to. So well done there. We'll go back and have a look at the top scorers for this week. So a couple of 900s, but I think Oliver's got it. If I can go back, it's gone to round 4. Cleary's Clutch Panthers. Guess they certainly were after the Roosters scored first with a 912. So Captain Haas as well. Again, had a similar front row. Luciano Leilua, 57. So Hines and Boyd in the halves. So 63 and 86. Definitely helping out there. Having Failongo and Walsh in the back line and Farnworth, pretty nice. And then solid contributions all the way across the bench. Don't think Ethan Sanders' score was involved. So, yeah, well done, Oliver, on a great score this week. In the second league, I'll get back. So it got done by the Midnight Ramblers, David's team, 834. So I had Terrell May instead of Isaiah Yo. Had Helam Lukey on field. Sam Walker, sort of very similar to Atkinson. So Macassini over Fayamani, I guess a few extra points. And then having Joe Chan on the bench, 83. So I guess 50 points extra on the bench is probably what has got Dave over the line there. So well done. If we go to the fixtures and have a scout. So Oliver topping this league as well. So we'll have a look at Paul's team, Team Gibbon 2. Go back to round 3. The 9-10, which is a great effort. So Harry Grant at hooker. So first one with a different hooker, 44. Kyle Matangi with 48 was solid. Tino struggling, 33. Captain Cleary had Jai Gray in the back line for 68. Keanu Kinney, 49. So going the triple fullback, working out pretty well. And then having Joe Chan as well, very helpful with that score. Um, Open League, we'll have a quick look. So subscribe to my OnlyFins. Sonny's team has risen to the top thanks to an 874 this week, sneaking past Liam's team. But we'll have a look at some other big scores. 926 for Pom E Granite, Kate's team. Looks like that was the top score in the Open League. So well done, Kate. 30,000th overall, so doing well. Blake Brayley, 76 at hooker. Pretty handy score there. IPAP with 46. And a nice matchup this week. Pretty much running at Jonah Pezzett. So I think that's a pretty good have. Cleary Dewey in the halves. Captain Farmworth, so that worked out all right. Had Drinky for 66. Teddy, 55. So a bit of money in the back line, which has worked out well. And then 50s across the board on the bench. So well on Kate, some very good scoring there this week. So in terms of initial thoughts on trades, obviously there's going to be a bit of a reshuffle. So Mooney's out, Fafita's out, Chester's out. So slide. Sanders up, Howe up, Setu 2 up. So we've got 5 players unavailable currently. So we need to do at least one trade. And I guess I'm thinking Toby Couchman, as I said, not getting what I hoped to get out of him. We've already lost 50k, which is not ideal. But yeah, I think we need to take advantage of that. So we've got 847, which basically gets us to anyone but Terrell May, as far as I can tell. How do I do price? Oh, here we go. Probably that. Yeah, so outside of Terrell May, we're 50k short. We can get to anyone. So Herbie Farnworth, I mean, we've probably got enough sort of backline coverage for now. Jaden Campbell's an interesting one. Come back and scored 78 in his first game back. Obviously, that was boosted by 2 tries. So you sort of shave those points off, and he was about 60-point scorer. Latrell's on the bye, so we disregard him. Hudson Young's obviously a keeper at the edge, but we've probably got a lot of edges already. Preston Hines. Brayley is obviously an option at hooker. We could look at a Grand as well, as a little bit cheaper. But given how early it is in the season, we do sort of want to look at making some money as well. So if I can get break-evens up, I don't know if they show up here. Projected break-evens for round 4. You can see Joe Chan still has a negative 12 break-even. Scored 190. He's already made 190k in cash, but projected to, go another 61k this week. Tanner Boyd, same sort of conversation. Obviously a little bit more expensive, but also he is averaging 80 across the 3 games so far, and has a nice fixture at home against the Tigers. Fletcher Hunt, so still cheap, making some good cash potentially. Up against the Bulldogs this week though, so I think it'll be tough for Newcastle offensively. So yeah, nothing else really jumps out at this point. Obviously, like Purdue's been going right, but up against the Storm is a tough fixture. So I am leaning towards getting Joe Channing. Again, it's another edge player, but they seem to be making good cash at the moment. And, with Melbourne up against North Queensland, who isn't the strongest defence, he has a good chance of getting a try, getting some more cash gen, and obviously the points will be helpful too. I guess if we did want to get Boyd, we'd have to find 349k. So where we could get that from, if we have a look at the list, we could cash out on Tommy Chester, albeit he's still got a nice break even. Um, but obviously isn't playing this week. After that, we're sort of trading a player that's playing this week. Fayamani and two aren't there yet. Arama Howe, he's got a bit of good cash gen, still -2 break even, so you don't want to jump off him too early. Sanders is still going okay at 13 break even, and the Sharks haven't been that impressive other than, the Titans probably made them look good in that first half of the game in round one. Atkinson, as we said, has got the good fixture against the Titans, so we're not trading him out yet. Guess potentially we could do KL Euro. He's been a bit underwhelming. Has the Raiders next. Raiders followed by the Warriors. The Roosters are okay, and then on the bye. So, probably a tough couple of fixtures coming up. We could potentially look at getting him after the bye a bit cheaper with slightly nicer running games there. But they also have another bye in round 12. So, probably something I didn't look into too deeply when I've picked Euro in my squads. So, yeah, that is quite tempting. So 340 plus 5. Because then the other thing is potentially 890. I don't think we can quite get to 897, can we? So if we trade him out, I'll just get rid of Boyd. 910. So we could look at getting Terrell May instead of Kaeliro. And that would, just really, we'd have the three big dogs in the middle. Pretty much a set and forget sort of situation there. With obviously Trey Mooney and Hamish Stewart as coverage is pretty handy. So I guess we don't have to lock it in at the moment, but we'll have a look at Terrell May if I just I'll swing Kiros up, get 2 on the field. That will allow us to bring in Terrell May, confirm that trade. And so then the team this week would look something like this. So so the back line, obviously we're using the cheapies, but that's okay. But the forwards are looking quite nice with the likes of Howe, Chan, Stewart as cover. Obviously Trey Mooney, Ryan Couchman once they're available, Dave Fafita. So obviously we are cashing out a couple of these edges in the future. Hopefully with some money to upgrade our halves. Get a second hooker in the squad would be nice. Although Reed Marnie doesn't have a bye for a long time. Fixtures. So round 15 is the first bye, so that's the second origin, I'm pretty sure. So I think Marnie's fine there. We don't need to rush on the hooker situation, but yeah. So that looks pretty good. I mean, I'm leaning towards May over Boyd just because we don't know what's going to happen when Metcalf comes back from injury. Whereas May, as I said, is pretty set and forget now with those middles. And we can just sort of start working our way back through the team, trying to make some money to get to a Farnworth, to get to our wing fullback options, wherever they may be, and go from there. But we'll leave the video there for now. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the NRL Fantasy content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.